Okay, thank you very much. And yeah, thank you very much. And first of all, thank you for the organizer for inviting me here. Although I have to apologize that I will not really talk about geometry here because it's been a while since I'm working on geometry. But I will try to talk about Hopf algebra, like more Hopf algebra sites. So I will talk about generalized heterodypher modules and what are this stuff and how it relates to center of construction as the usual heterodypher case. So I would like to start with, I think, the case that everyone knows. So here I would like to start with H to be by algebra or Hopf algebra if mentioned, and this by algebra or Hopf algebra is over K, where its K is commutative ring or field if mentioned. So we have these well-known things. So the category of heterodypher modules is equivalent to some center of category of modules, and the category of heterodypher module also equivalent to some category of module over Rydberg doubles. So this is pretty much well known, and probably I will recall if some of you doesn't know the Rydberg module, although I think everyone knows, but I will recall a little bit. So an object in the category of heterodypher module is of course it's a K module, but it also has a H coaction and H coactions here. And there is a compatibility with the action and coactions. And here, of course, H still, we don't need Hopf algebra yet, but in case H has an op antipode S bar, this compatibility reduced to the below compatibility, so they are equivalent. And well, here, as usual, because I'm working on left-right heterodypher module, of course, you have like 4 versions. But in case we have like the right or left version, instead of antipode, we will use the usual antipode will appears here. So so on the other hand, we have the center of the monoidal category because H is Hopf algebra or by algebra. The category of H module becomes monoidal category where the tensor product is defined as a usual tensor product, and the H action on it is defined by diagonal actions. Then what is the center of H module? So the object of the center of H module consists of M beta, where M is an H module, where N beta is a half braiding, and this beta is a natural transformation, and as usual is determined by H linear map here. And in general, if for any X in H module, the half braiding beta is given by the following map. And here we can see that if we want to recover the coaction on the heterodypher module, the coaction on M is defined by taking a map of one tensor M using beta of the beta H. And well, beta is natural if and only if the coaction obeys the compatibility conditions, and also if the beta is also satisfy half braid condition if only if the map rho is H coactions. And if we want beta to be natural isomorphism, we will need H to be Hopf algebra in this case. So we have the well-known theorem here where the category of center of H module is equivalent to category of heterodypher modules. So that's one side of the story. And of course, the other side of the story is that if our bialgebra or Hopf algebra is finitely generative projective, then we could consider the double Drinfeld here, which this is Hopf algebra, and the algebra structure is given by some sort of double cross product. And we will also find that the category of heterodypher module is equivalent to the category of module over the Drinfeld double. And here, this double Drinfeld is positive out of algebra. Although, yeah, we will need the proof. We will need the structure to prove, but I will not really talk about the proof now. So, so that's the story about heterodypher module. And then on the other side, we also have a variant of heterodypher module, which we call anti-heterodypher module. So the idea is that if we interchange the role of the antipode with antipode inverse, or in this case, in my definition, I use the op antipode here. sorry, I think I write here somewhere. Yeah. So if we replace this op antipod with S or vice versa, we will get the anti-34 module. And this is due to Hajek, Kalkali, Regipur, and Sommerhauser. And basically, for anti-34 module, it has the similar the similar compatibility conditions with the usual one, where the role of S antipod of antipod is now replaced by the usual antipod and vice versa. And there is some anti-double Reinfeldt in this case. And also the category of anti-34 module is not monoidal, but it is a category over the usual Yatterday-Ford module, or maybe if you prefer the name of module category. So, but we call it category. And moreover, this category of anti-Yatterday-Ford module is also equivalent to some kind of center. But of course, the center is not center of monodal category anymore, but it's center of module category. And and slightly more general, there is a higher anti-Yatterday-Ford module where this S is now replaced by some power of antipod. So it's not necessarily S anymore, but it can be S squared, S to power of 4, and so on. So that's due to Hasanzadeh, Kalkali, and Sapiro. So that's like the more general version of anti-Yatterday-Ford module. But moreover, there is another more general version of the anti-Yatterday-Ford module by Panette and Steig. Well, in the paper, they call it generalized Yatterday-Ford module. So what is this? So this is the category of generalized anti-Yatterday-Ford module, where it depends on the parameter alpha and beta, where alpha and beta are of algebra automorphisms. And the module over the module inside in this category is of course it has an H action and H coaction again, but it has and also it has a similar compatibility with the Yatterday-Ford module, but now it depends on the automorphism alpha and beta here. So you can see that if alpha and beta is identity, then you will get the usual Yatterday-Ford module, or with some, or if we use beta to be S squared in this case, or alpha to be S squared in this case, then we will get the anti-Yatterday-Ford module. So in the sense, this generalized Yatterday-Ford module modify the notion of usual Yatterday-Ford module, and also the anti-Yatterday-Ford module, and also even the higher case, the higher degree of anti-Yatterday-Ford module. So yeah, and maybe I will back to this later, but basically Panette and Steig also proved that the category of generalized anti-Yatterday-Ford module, in the sense, it forms a group cross-braided model category in the sense of Turaev, or some people will call it a Turaev T category. But I will back to this case later if I have some times. But it turns out that this is not really the most general versions of YD module, and the most general version, as far as I know, is due to Kanepal, Melitaru, and Zhu in 2004, where now we need to be careful a little bit here. So the most general version of Yatterday-Ford module is defined over a YD datum, and in this YD datum we have 4 things here. The first thing that we have is 2 algebra H and K, and we will also need bicomodal algebra A, HK bicomodal algebra A, and also bimodal coalgebra C. So that's our YD datum. And how we define the generalized Yatterday-Ford module in this case? So the module over, well, this is my notation for the generalized Yatterday-Ford module. So you can see here by the notation, generalized YD module, in this case, it has a left A module structure and C comodal structure. So the model and the comodal structure are over different algebra and coalgebra. So it's not like the same of algebra or bialgebra anymore. And it has some compatibility, and the compatibility of course is similar to the one of the usual YD module or the more general version. But here we need to be careful because I write in color. I hope it's clear. But basically, it uses all the structure. It uses all the structure of A bicomodal algebra and C bimodal coalgebra here. Of course, again, it's reduced to the usual case if everything is the same Hopf algebra or bialgebra. there may be some remark. If our coalgebra is finitely generated projective over K, then one can construct the generalized double Drinfeld in this case, which is given by double cross product over C star, which is the dual of C and the algebra A. And in this way, one can show that the category of this generalized Drinfeld module is equivalent to module over this generalized Drinfeld double. So this is well known and given by Panette and Militaro and Zhu. But the questions is that is this category, the category of generalized YD module arise from some center construction? So that's the goal of my talk. And also we would like to see if this generalized YD module also has some monoidal structure. Okay. So before that, this is just some observation. As I said before, if we take everything to be the same by algebra of algebra, we will get the notion of the usual Drinfeld module here. And also the Panette and Stike YD module, which they also call generalized YD module, is arise as the more generalized YD module where we set the algebra, the bicomodal algebra to be alpha H beta. Well, maybe I can use this. Yeah. So and here this is just H as an algebra, but it has a modified coactions where the modified coaction depends on the of algebra automorphism alpha and beta. So basically, this is really like the most general version. So now, yeah, so that's the question that I want to answer. To answer if this category is equivalent to some center, and what does it mean? So in the usual case, how do we get the equivalence between YD module and in the center? So if we start with by algebra, and we consider the category of H module, which is a monoidal category via the usual tensor product, and we have the diagonal actions, and then this monoidal structure leads to the equivalence of the center and the category of YD module. But in case of generalized YD module, we don't have monoidal category anymore because now we start with a bicomodal algebra, where H and K here are by algebra. And if we consider the category of A module, this is not by monoidal anymore, but we consider it as by module category or by category over H module and K module. Of course, this is also via the usual tensor product, where you can see here the action of A on M tensor N tensor P is given by diagonal actions. So the question is how we define the center of A module in this case, or how to leave this structure to generalize YD module. And to do that, we will need some kind of structure here for some kind of monoidal structure for the generalized YD module. So here we have a proposition which says that we have this usual tensor product on this generalized YD module, but we have to be careful because it will land on different category. So here the tensor product is on one generalized YD module with different category of generalized YD module, but we have to be careful here. So here, if you see that the by algebra here should be like the end of the tail of algebra is K, but here the start of algebra is K. So it's the same case. So it's like matrix multiplication, and the resulting generalized YD module will be over. Well, it will define on by algebra H and L, but the algebra and the coalgebra that our module will act upon and or coact upon is, well, it will have the A cotensor product B module structure and also D tensor C comodule structure. And the role of this by algebra K is that the cotensor and the tensor product is defined over K here. And well, this is actually basic stuff. So this is the structure. Well, if we have M in the first YD module and N in the second YD module, we could define M tensor N. But what is the action of A cotensor B on M tensor N? It's defined by the usual action, just the usual action. And also the coaction is defined like, well, it's just the standard coactions as well. And you can check that what with this action and coaction, M tensor N will be a YD module in this bigger category. And from here you can see that this generalized YD module is not monoidal category, but it's bimodal category, or we call it bicategory, where from the left, the model category that acts from the left is the category of usual little module over H, but from the right is the usual. Well, it not necessarily the same the same YD module over H, but it could be different YD module, but still the usual YD module. So the idea to find the center of the generalized YD module, we need a center of bimodal category in this case. So that's what we try to find. So here we define the relative center for bicategory. So here we are working, let's say M is a CD bicategory where C and D are, well, monoidal category. So I write using different colors. So it does not necessarily have the same tensor product. Or in the example, we will use the usual tensor product later. And but we don't know if it's just random by category. We cannot really have a center on it. But in this case, our monoidal category is related by sum of monoidal functor, or maybe some of you will call it Oplaks functor, where the functor E satisfies this condition, where if we apply C tensor C applying on E, it will maps into EC tensor EC bar. And the center of M relative to this monoidal functor E, we call it the weak E center. The object of this weak center is a pair M beta, where M is by category M, and beta is a natural transformation, which again we will call half braiding, where now this beta sending Cx upon M to Mx upon EC. So and it has some compatibility similar to the definition of the usual center, which means that the compatibility here should respect the monoidal category of C and D. So you can see here, let's say if you have C and C prime is in monoidal category C, and they are act upon M, because they are well, because it's monoidal, because this is a bicategory, so this is isomorphic to C tensor C, where here the tensor product is the tensor product of model category C. And with the half braiding, it's the same. Well, we can send it to Mx upon E of C tensor C prime, but here where we need the Oplaks functor here, the monoidal structure where this E of C tensor C prime is sent to EC tensor EC prime. That's on one way. On the other way, we can move the C first. We can move the C prime first, and then we got this, and then we can move the C. We move C again, and then we got this, and then they are equivalent. So that's the conditions for the center of bimodal category in this sense. Of course, there's also we need isomorphism, but well, if I will not really discuss it, but it's similar. Yeah. So in this definition, we only need E to be monoidal, but if moreover if the functor E is not just monoidal, but it is a modal equivalence, then we can show that this center it becomes bicategory, but it's bicategory over the center of C and center of D from left and from the right, because the center of C is monoidal, this is also monoidal, so we can define the bicategory structure on the center of M, and the braiding is again given by the half braiding that mentioned before. Yeah, so that's basically the theory, and we aim to apply this construction to the by category A module, where again I recall that A is an HK by comodal algebra, and again by the construction we will need this functor E, which now a functor from the H module to K module to be of model functor. And before we construct the center, we will need this lemma. So basically, if the functor E here, the functor E is co-continuous, then E is equivalent to C tensor something, where the tensor product is over H. And again, we have to remember from our YD datum that C is bimodal coalgebra and bimodal over KH. And we can show that if E is monoidal, then it is if only if C becomes a bimodal coalgebra. And moreover, if E is not just monoidal but strong monoidal or model equivalence, then C becomes H Galois co-object. And this is probably the strongest one. So if E is monoidal equivalence, then C becomes KH by Galois co-object. And we will use this lemma for the construction of center of a module. So this is the main theorem. So if we have YD datum, if you remember, HK are by algebra, A is by comodal algebra over HK, and C is by model coalgebra over KH. Then the category of heterogeneous module is equivalent to the center of a module, but this is center of by category. And the idea is basically the same as the usual construction, where the half braiding, but now the half braiding is sending, well, something tensor M to M tensor C tensor something. Maybe I forgot to remember, maybe I forgot to tell you, but the action of a module, the action of H module on A module is given by the usual tensor product. So that's why we have the usual tensor product here. But the functor E here, it depends on the tensor product over H. So this is our half braiding from the construction. And of course, we assume that our functor here is monoidal in the first place. So we will have that this is equivalent to, yeah, so the functor from H module to A module equivalent to C tensor something. And again, as usual, this half braiding is determined by a linear map. Well, we can put H here. So it's, if we put H here, then C tensor HH it just becomes C, and then the beta is determined by this map. And this is a linear map. And or more generally, if we put some X here, where X is some object in H module, then in general the formula of the beta, the half braiding becomes like this. But we have to be careful because this is on M, this is on C, and this is X is in H. Sorry, in H module. And how we define the coaction here? The coaction of M, well, it's similar. So we restrict it to be we define the coaction on M of M on C to be the beta of one tensor M. So it's similar. And then we can prove the similar stuff. So there are some techniques that a little bit different with the usual YD model, but I will skip all the detail. But basically, we got the similar result for the usual YD module. So if beta is natural, then these coactions satisfy the YD condition, the general YD condition. And if beta satisfy the half braid condition, then this is an H coaction. This is if and only if. This is also if and only if. And moreover, if this beta is isomorphism, then if we want beta to be an isomorphism, we need more condition, where the condition is that we need is that A to be Galois object over H. Since I forgot to write it, but this is Galois object over H. So, well, we got the similar construction with the usual one. So yeah, so that's the statement. And yeah, so this is, as I said before, if H is Galois object, then we got half braiding isomorphism. And but moreover, if we have C is by Galois object, because we want the functor to be a model equivalence, then if we assume that, then this becomes by category. So I think do I still have some time? Do I still have some time or 4 minutes? Okay. So that's basically all the result about the center, but I promise you that I will talk about the derived category before. So this is some, if we come back to the previous slide, probably I will not show it, but basically for the alpha beta YD module, this is due to Panetta and Stike. They show that there is some kind of braiding. So if we take M is in YD, that depends on alpha and beta, where alpha beta are Hopf algebra automorphism, and N is also in generalized YD, but depends on the different Hopf algebra automorphism. We can do the tensor product, because basically this is in terms of our generalized YD, this is equivalent to this category, and we can see that because it has the same Hopf algebra here, so we can do the usual tensor product. So this is well defined. But then Panetta and Stike also show that there is some kind of braiding here from M tensor N to N tensor, well, some twisted alpha beta, and this is twist of M via alpha and beta. And in fact, this twist lead to a group morphism from automorphism H times automorphism H to the automorphism of YD module. Well, but this YD module is the union of the YD module over, if we sum all the alpha beta, so this is the union of alpha beta. So no. And this is basically a cross-braided monoidal category, which means that it has a braiding, and the braiding is given by this braiding. Maybe I will not really talk about the detail in this on the formula of the braiding, but basically the braiding satisfies the axioms of the usual braiding. It's similar. So we want to generalize, because this is in terms of Panetta and Stike, and this is not really the most generalized stuff. So we want to generalize this result to our case. So how we do that? So here, first of all, we can define a bicategory YD, where the zero object in this category is the bialgebra H and K, and the one object is the category of is the generalized the generalized YD module, and the two object is a morphism between them. But here, and then yeah, so that's our bicategory, and we can see that this is a union, because in our bicategory here, H and K are fixed because it's a zero object. But for one object, we can varies A and C, where A here and here, that's where we need A to be an object in bi-Galois. So A need to be bi-Galois object, and C needs to be bi-Galois co-object. And the question is if this category is formed, is this form a derived bicategory in this case? We still don't know in general, but we have some partial results. Basically, we have some generalized braiding in this case, but in our case, the partial result is something like this. So we don't really have formula for the most generalized case, because if you see here the Hopf algebra that we have here, this is the same. Sorry, this is the same bialgebra, but also the algebra, the bicomodal algebra that we use here is not just any bicomodal algebra, but it's the same H. So basically, this is bialgebra, and the bicomodal structure is given by the coproduct. But then, if we can tensor, we can apply the tensor product here of this guy with the standard with the general YD module, and we can see that the resulting category, well, the result will live in this category. So this DC is just D tensor C over H. But then we have the braiding, where the braiding sends this tensor product to the bottom one. But you can see here this is fixed. So the right category is fixed, but we only change this left category here. So basically, what I want to say is we have to have this braiding, we will need a functor from one category, one generalized YD category to the other generalized YD category. So maybe this is, I forgot to write, but this is KYD DCD bar with KK here. So yeah, this is over KK, like this one. And it sends, if I have object M in here, it sends M to the object D tensor HM. So yeah, that's the braiding. And this braiding, it satisfies the usual axiom for braiding. But the problem appears if we, because here we fix the algebra and we fix coalgebra. Sorry, we varies the coalgebra. But what if we also varies algebra here? So that's something that we are still stuck. So if this is not any Hopf algebra, but this is just any algebra by comodal algebra, but we still have the same Hopf by algebra here. But in this case, we know that we will have a braiding where again the right category will still the same, so we don't change it, but the left category it changes to we will send it to different category. So basically we will have this functor, and we know that this will work because well, diagrammatically it will work, but the problem is we still don't know what is the functor looks exactly, what it looks like exactly. So we know if we have M in this category, we will send it to some omega tensor M, where tensor is over A, because M, if I have M in this YD category, then M should be in the category of left A module, but we don't know what is omega. So basically that's our problem, but at the moment we are still don't know. But yeah, so that's all for me. Thank you very much. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so for the anti-heterodyne module, the action will be the action will be modified. So well, when you well, it's not written in the detail, but basically it will affect this action here. So for if this is just H, it will, sorry, if everything is H, then this the coaction, sorry, how to say, maybe I can just write here. So if M is in the, but if this is maybe in usual, so the formula of N1, so this because the coaction is over H, this become element of H. So this is just reduced to be the usual action. But in order to have anti-heterodyne module, then this action is not becomes not become M tensor X. So it becomes modified by some S square, I think. So it will fix the anti-heterodyne module. So that's it. Yeah.